Hi, welcome to If I Did a Show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from MMA Word Media.
All right, we made it.
We made it. Some of us are wearing fuchsia and magenta. I don't think that's allowed together, Mr. Robinson.
Hey, I'm going for a masters of reality type day.
That's stylish, man.
Hey, I'm trying, and every little bit, but I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, so I'm a little crazed today. So that could also be a product of it. And I'm crazed because I'm back on the dark rage.
Here we go.
No matter how early in the morning you take it, you're only getting 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Legalized crystal meth, illegal in Canada, but it gives you a hell of a workout.
Damn. Okay, I'm your host, Alexiod. Joining me as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and EUGENE'S Robinson, Ozzy.com, and author of Everything Everyone Would Ask. I'm afraid you get your ass kicked for asking. What are you going to say, Nate? Sorry.
I was just going to say that crystal meth reference was for humorous purposes only. So
we're not medical doctors.
That's right.
We can't prescribe anything. Anyway.
And don't take our medical advice either.
Yeah. You can take my sex advice, but not the medical advice.
That's true. So speaking of taking advice, Eugene, your WME-IMG. The Boo Birds in Brooklyn let loose their disgust with your lackluster UFC 208 card and a main event featuring one fighter who is ducking the uncrowned UFC bantamweight champion Chris Cyborg and a winner who told the world she's also ducking Cyborg too. With critics complaining about bad reffing, what PR moves do you make to prevent a rematch nobody wants to see, a Cyborg match your champion doesn't want to fight, and a ref who had no business in the octagon?
Well, this is simple. It's sort of a complex. I mean, one of the things that happened immediately was they did what WME does really well. Like, you get the fuck out there and handle us, right? Like, it's almost like we were working at WME. So I don't know if you listened at 10 o'clock this morning, but Jermaine Durandamy had a call-in phoner press conference, which and I know that's advice very specifically we would have given. You get her out there, and it's not it's not like independent contractor land of yore where you just you want to do it or you not want to do it. No, you're an employee of my $4.2 billion concern. You get the fuck out there and start flapping those gums. I don't care what you say something. You fix it, And so there's this repeated thing. I'm not a dirty fighter. I was caught up in the passion of the moment. Backing off the whole hand surgery, like I'm gonna wait for as long as I feel like to heal his hand up. Well, we could create a new division. First thing you're gonna do is get surgery and let your meat loaf. Nah. I don't give a fuck what you do. You carry that division, and it's not so much to. I mean, you do realize Cyborg was suspended. It's not like they just couldn't put together a fight for her, or she's got extended structural difficulties in getting her ass back in the octagon. So, as far as I'm concerned, you can't control they say you can't control a judging issue. I imagine you can exert some sort of control or the reffing issue. I imagine through back channels you can control it. The excuse that they're making is that MMA is new to New York. Well, on Knuckle Up, I had Jacob Bannon once, who was a ref in Boston, and he also happened to sing for that band Converge. And he told me that it's pretty extensive testing, and they put you on the amateur circuit for a while, so it should be quite easy for them to get close by people who have reffed MMA matches. And who know what the fuck is going on, like not stopping it when guys are working on the ground. That's a phone call. The Jermaine thing was them doing what they do best. Get out there, fix this. The Holly thing was also them, I believe. Filing an appeal. The worst thing in the world would be if people stop talking about this. It's got to generate heat to generate heat. Small fires start bigger fires. Get people out there talking. Create some controversy, create a reason to look, and then fucking fix it. Whatever has to happen with Cyborg to get her ass back in the cage, make it happen. And I'm sorry, the number one victim here is going to be Jermaine's hand. Your hand is hurt. Too bad. Do it, or we give the interim title to somebody else and put somebody else out there. I don't care. You shot. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? You know, the brass ring is there. You grab it. There's no like, well, give me tomorrow. I'll come back. Yeah, no, it's now. It's in the perpetual now in the world of entertainment. So WME, if I'm WME, I'm doing exactly what's happening right now. And if I'm actually Ari Emanuel, I'm adding a little something extra in the envelope, and that is, well, silver or lead. I don't have time to fuck around with you guys. I got a big vig to pay on this thing, and you got to come correct. You know, I mean, it wasn't so much. The night wasn't so much a crap fest. It's just when it becomes a boxing-esque crap fest. No, honestly, if Derek Brunson had, if you didn't feel like Johnny Rotten said, like that you were robbed, nobody would be complaining. If Brunson, kind of did what seemed more correct, and maybe there was a draw in the main one, and there'd be controversy if there was a draw. People would be upset, and they'd be doing it again. If the entire meal, the appetizer, the dessert, if it had all been good, people had gone away feeling okay. And it didn't take that much for that to happen, but it didn't happen.
So what do you do, Nate?
Well, I think he's right about the Durandamy part. They had to get her out there. That was good. The referee front, they're having a little back and forth with the commission, because the commission's saying, hey, assholes, we gave you a list of who the referees were, and you could have piped up pre-fight. And so next time, pipe up pre-fight. If you see the same dude's name on a main event, say no, and get him out of there. I mean, they've got some leverage there. On the judging front,
and how come they have to use local judges? I mean, refs. I see Herb Dean all over the place.
That's up to the commission. I mean, the commission can hire whoever they want to. And so some states, you see the usual crew, like in Vegas, you almost always see the same guys. California, pretty much see the same guys. Sometimes in Texas or Missouri, you see some of these local characters that pop up. So, I suspect there's a union involved in New York, but I could be wrong. But they got to pipe up and work with the commission to get better. I mean, because that was a fiasco, and the booking, they got to book better fights, man. I mean, Derek Brunson versus Anderson Silva made 0 cents, none, not a zilp. I mean, Derek Brunson has not earned the right to be in there with the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And he showed that. I mean, he was afraid, he was cautious, and he needed to just go in there and bull him down, take him down. And if you have to lay and pray on the guy for 3 rounds, fine, do it. Chael Sonnen did it. Everybody oohed and awed over what a great fight it was. But
what do you think their intent was, though? What do you think the intent was?
I think their intent was a desperation move to get Anderson Silva on the card, because they had jack shit. And,
do you think he picked Brunson? Do you think that they gave him potential opponents?
I think they picked Brunson because he was around and they could book him for this fight. They just needed anybody to get in there with Anderson Silva. That's what I think. Foolishness.
Speaking of foolishness, Nate, your National Security Advisor, Michael T. Flynn.
Former.
I didn't say former?
Yeah, I don't believe you did.
I might have You resigned last Monday after news broke that you lied to Vice President Mike Pence about the extent of your discussions with Russia's U.S. ambassador. As Congress beckons for answers about your sins, does your fear of offending Putin trump your concern to come clean? And if so, how do you keep your cheeks protected, figuratively and literally?
Well, I wouldn't be going to the airport if I was dude. I mean, you don't want to end up like Kim Jong-un's half-brother.
LOL.
The girls thought it was a prank.
Yeah, just some poison knitting needles jabbing in the spine. I mean, what? Ha 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 ha.
They sprayed something on a napkin and held it to his face. Like, it's an internet prank.
I see. That's a pretty nice setup. That's a nice move. Yeah, if you're Flynn, man, you're pretty fucked. Fortunately, the only thing he's got on his side is the Republican Congress desperately does not want to investigate this. They've had numerous, Senator Rand Paul was like, why on earth would we investigate a Republican president? Which is like, dropping kayfabe. You need to at least pretend you've got some principle to stand behind your reasoning other than just pure partisanship. And, you know, if you're Flynn, it's like you've done enough favors for Putin. I bet you Vladimir Putin is like, dude, I don't need any more help. Thank you. Thanks for all you've done, but ixnay on the LP. You know, I mean, yeah, Flynn's pretty fucked. And this is his second time getting fired from a major job. Obama fired him. I can't remember what position he was in. But, yeah. So if you're Flynn, you're pretty fucked. I don't know that you can advise Flynn to do anything except take a nice long vacation.
Jesus Christ. Nate we're having a problem here with semantics, my friend. He's fucked. No, I'm fucked. Flynn is doing okay.
He's out like Flynn.
That guy who I was just talking to is a workman in my house. I thought he was gonna give me the friend rate of $300, hit me with a $900 bill.
He sees you wearing a maroon jacket with a magenta shirt and a fuchsia tie.
It's like that dude has some money to be affording
$29
fancy
suit,
threads.
I go to Alan
and fuchsia.
I go to Alan du Petit 20.
I think he messed up your internet connection too.
Yeah,
I'm like, no.
I'm trapped in the phantom zone. What did you say?
What about now?
Yeah, now you got almost.
Say it again.
Now?
Yes. So what were you said?
Okay, because you went completely black there for a second.
Hey, don't get racist.
Yeah, and Nate is like,
he's trying to pass.
Got some latency issues, so I don't know. Anyway, so Flynn, I mean, how old is this fucking guy? You think this guy needs a? Yeah, he's not in his 50s. He's older than that.
He's had a hard life, man.
You know what? If he is in his 50s, I'm doubly fucked because I'm in my 50s and I'm not sitting pretty like Mr. fucking Flynn.
December 1958. So
he's 4 years older than I am. So he's 59. So he is in his 50s. So yes, I stand. Sustained. I am fucked. He's doing okay. You know, I'm guessing that by his past jobs in life, he's managed to sock away a little bit of money. I don't know why I'm
working in the military though. He hasn't had his run on the private contractor side, which is where he cashed in.
And you think he's not going to get taken care of? Somebody's paying this man.
I think he fucked up.
Somebody's paying this man, or he's going to write a book. Guys got to eat. You get this close to a payday. That's the kind of payday you get when Republicans are controlling things and you're a Republican in office and you're sitting there watching all those trucks back up and all that cash loaded onto the trucks and you're not going to cut dude in for a bit. Don't put him in a position where he has to write a book, which they'll then put you in a position where you have to kill him.
How much of a book can he write? He's got the shortest tenure of any national security advisor in history.
We call it the iceberg book. Very short tenure. A lot of stuff below the waterline.
I see. So, I still want to know what the guy did wrong. What was so wrong? He talked to some friends, phone calls, chit chat.
Yeah.
He's trying to prevent World War III.
Well, apparently,
exactly. He's saving us all.
Apparently, it was the parent, the teenage parent of teenagers thing. Mike, yeah. Did you talk to anybody in Russia? I don't remember. You don't remember? Well, well, Johnny did. Okay, all right, that doesn't help. All right, so that's the story that they're using. And this is everybody's digging. They're not going to stop digging after this crazy fucking press conference today. I don't know if you listened to it live. Boja moi.
I had 306 votes.
Yeah, that was great.
Was huge. And nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Nobody watches the news. Nobody likes you. Your ratings are low. You're very low ratings.
Well, the thing is, it's like a bad relationship because you know when you get in a bad relationship and you go, I got to get the fuck out of this. And you know why? The point where you say I got to get the fuck out of this is where you look 4 years down the road and you go, what? 4 more years of this? Are you fucking kidding? No, So I think
then you have a chance to hook up and you're like, maybe after that.
Nah. A wise man knows there are plenty of other buses to get on. You don't have to stick with this one.
But why when you have one parked right in the station, baby?
Yeah, nah, sorry, Jay. Yeah, your world
was fam zone, man.
See, the Russians are interfering with Eugene again. I told them not to cross Putin. It's
Instead of
still
fucking
Alexi.
So
That poison
probably
Alexi was laughing gas.
you're-
All shit's breaking down.
so I think that sounds pixelated to me now. So
You're
You
straight
better-
up, it's straight up just like Superman when they're like, the Phantom's all like, oh, slow
your hands up,
spinning,
man.
breaking, twisting, and turning.
yeah.
Man. All right, so Eugene, you're Edward Snowden.
Fuck that guy. I'm sorry. Fuck me.
According to NBC News, Russia is sending you back home to the U.S. You tweeted, I don't know if the rumors are true, but I can tell you this. I am not afraid. There are things that must be said no matter the consequences, end quote. So let me remind you of these things, matters, and consequences said by our current president. Quote, Snowden is a spy who should be executed. But if he could reveal Obama's records, I might become a major fan, end quote. What is your PR plan to appease his high exaltedness, the great Donald the Trump, before you enter his boardroom and are fired from life?
Oh, but come on. You can't really be thinking. Don't you think it's a tad convenient that they're talking about return this cat now? You know, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that very specifically, the guy is a sleeper. I mean, he's going to come back now, and what's he going to talk about? Is he going to talk about what the White House is doing now, what the NSA is doing now, what our security apparatus is doing now?
You mean
he's
like busting
what
Mike Flynn?
Yeah, no, he's going to talk about what they spent that press conference trying to do. It's like, hey, Obama. Remember him? Yeah, you don't like me? Thanks, Obama. Obama is the one who it's Obama, and it's like becomes this kind of mantra that people like, which will be more effective the sooner you do it versus later. That's why they're not talking about bringing Snowden back this fall or next year. Or they talk about bringing him back now. It's a diversion. It's a diversionary tactic. He's gonna bring him back. I mean, he's not like he's being held prisoner. He should be court-martialed. He should be shot. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Dude's going to be on talk shows on Fox. He's going to do a book, and he's going to be embraced by the left as a cause celeb, because he's sticking it to the man. And, of course, the right will love him because the man that he's sticking it to is a guy who's, just trying to write another book and make some money. I guess he's already fixed, too. Again, he's not fucked. I am fucked. Obama's doing all right, not me.
You can tell all those photos of him like enjoying life. Must be nice.
With the ladies, with those Russian ladies, which Putin says the Russian ladies are the best. So,
my experience with Russian hookers, it's like I found them to be incredibly predatory.
If you can't trust a working girl, Eugene, who can you trust?
No, I'm saying, like, I was staying at the Hotel Moscow in St. Petersburg on the Nevsky. And you're walking through the lobby, and you feel like you're going through one of those nature parks. Where you drive your car so you don't get torn apart by the tigers. That's what it felt like to me.
I see. Maybe it was just because you're black.
I don't know about that, man. If I'm in that
how many
hotel,
other black people in the lobby?
bunch of fighters, so there are lots.
I see. Maybe it was because you're hanging out with cage fighters.
Man, we felt imperiled. They didn't feel imperiled.
Safest from the hookers.
Yeah,
please.
don't make eye
contact.
contact.
They're attacking.
Walk straight. Just walk straight. Just keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking.
Yeah.
So,
no, they were like some hard-looking women, man. I was afraid.
Man. So, what's your take, Nate?
My take is Eugene's completely crazy and wrong on this. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Snowden's fucked. I mean, Snowden's, you pissed off the USA under a Democratic administration. You ran away to Russia. Now you're not useful to the Russians anymore, except as a pawn and a trading piece to give to Trump. So presumably they think they're taking some heat off Trump, but all they're doing is digging the hole deeper. Nobody wants Snowden at this point. And I mean, he's sort of lucky in that Trump's incompetence is so amazing and manifest. It's like You know, when you're reading these articles, they're not even able to turn the lights on in the White House because they haven't hired enough staffers to figure out how the shit works. If you're Snowden, there's a decent chance you get shipped back over here and they just forget all about you. You know, it's like when who was the guy, Eugene? He was the number 2.
Hitler?
No.
Hitler?
He was a mafia guy. No.
In Argentina for years.
Vito Genovese, who fled to Italy in the 30s because he had murdered, was under investigation in so many murders.
What's the matter with you? Hey!
And they bring him back. And by the time they brought him back, so many people had taken unplanned dives off apartment buildings that there wasn't any more cases to be made against him. And so halfway across, like some Johnny Do-Right had busted him in the black market because Vito had ensconced himself with the black marketeers in the U.S. Army. And some Dudley Do-Right was like, hey, I know who you are. I've been reading the wanted posters, asshole. I'm going to bust you. And halfway back on the cruise ship back to the States, Don Vito's thanking the kid. He's like, kid, I never would have occurred to me to go back to the States. You've done me such a great favor. And that's what Snowden's going to be like. Like, you know, he's a man out of time. I think he just needs to sit tight, keep his mouth shut, and see what happens because he's got very limited options.
Hey, you know, you remember when all those Chilean miners got stuck in the mine and it was like they were fucked, and then those guys get out and they were like super celebrities. They got like lit Cadillacs and they made a movie and they got invited to talk shows and they've been hanging out with celebrities in Hollywood.
Yep.
Is that what it's going to be?
They made a movie about him already, man. Who's that cat? Who's that kid who also played Philippe Petit? That kid who was in Inception. Yeah. The kid. Noah, or what's that kid's name? He's in everything.
Look up IMDb. What are you asking me for?
Hey, with the kid who was the fucking Inception. He was like
and the stuff.
Noah. Come on, somebody watching has to know who this kid is. He played.
Let me turn on the chat and see if any of these yokels are trying to help you.
They're not yokels. They gotta know.
Like that.
They're Noah,
Luc Besson is a director.
Next question. He's derailing the whole show.
Right.
Come on.
All right. Yeah.
Nate, you're the U.S. Tennis Federation. Prior to a replay match in the women's tournament, a Nazi version of the German national anthem was sung.
That was smart.
German team member Andrea Petkovic posted, quote, "It was the worst experience that has ever happened to me. Horrifying.
Oh, really?
And shocking." End quote. She lost her match. How do you make amends?
Man, you just got to apologize, and fire somebody's dumbass. Like, who doesn't know Deutschland über alles is not the German national anthem? I mean, you know, it's either ignorance or it's stealth Nazi propaganda. And so either way, it's a firing offense. I think you got to fire some people, heads on sticks, parade them around, apologize, even give some prize money to the German chick or something, like flowers, whatever it takes, because that was some egregious, stupid nonsense.
What would you do, Eugene?
You know what? I'm more obsessed with this kind of like, how did this happen, right? Now, I don't know if you've been following German politics lately, but they have the far fucking right wing party, right?
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
A forgettable person if there ever was one. Let's move on. Go ahead, Eugene.
That guy's making bank. That guy is like the Joel Azan of Hollywood. Anyway, recently the far right. The question always is, how far will the far right go in Germany? Right? You know, emboldened by gains all across Europe, emboldened by Trump in America. Theresa May in England, will they gain any purchase, and how far, given their historical kind of standing, will they go? Well, they've already gone that place that you would never have expected them to go, and they do it via Johnny Boney Joni's favorite tweeting and deleting, And I think the female far right, it was said some tweet with like, if Hitler was here, we wouldn't be having these problems. Tweeted it out, deleted it, when called on it, said, hey, I was just reposting something that I thought was a pretty fundamentally amusing commentary on the state of national politics today, right? So I'm not making a joke about the gorillas. I'm just passing on the joke about the gorillas, but the dog whistle was heard far and wide, from Berlin to Bavaria, and it had to happen eventually. And that's not one, but two of these fucking parties. So all of a sudden, this was not an accident. This was not an accident. No way was this a fucking accident. I mean, what? I'm just kind of wondering about the deeper ramifications, and I kind of wonder, and I'm sure you guys are thinking about this as well. What happens if worldwide, as a result of the depredations of Middle Eastern lunatics, if they fucking run the table with a Marine Le Pen in France, with Merkel? I mean, this is not fucking crazy or remote. You've already got a guy in Poland who's the defense minister who is saber fucking rattling against whom? Nationalism, man. They're going to stand up to Russia, and they're going to stand up to what Germany.
Lithuania's been talking a lot of shit, and it's over. That's
and he's what he's fighting about. This is the level of scholarship of this fucking global international right wing. He is upset because the military won't salute him.
He's not their commander-in-chief?
No. He's a defense minister. You don't, and the guy never served in the military. So this guy in Poland is fucking pissed off. He's demanding it, and the military is kind of saying, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you back the fuck off?" Okay, only 17% of people voted. The peace party, law and justice party. Fuck you guys. Okay. So I mean, I think that this wasn't accidental, and there's the minor down here in the weeds issue of like, what do they do with the kind of public relations aspect? But I'm I want to be the guy out there with his finger in the air, and I don't want to miss this one. And I think something deeper and darker is happening. And people go, "Oh, are you saying that the Nazis?" I don't know about any of that. All I'm saying is that I don't think any of this shit is accidental.
Well, speaking of
conspiracy everywhere.
Here's a conspiracy.
Hey man, they played the song. I didn't make them play the song.
That was the American Tennis Federation, not the Germans. Come on, the tentacles are that long?
Yes.
Hey man, they talk about a National Holocaust Remembrance Day. They don't mention a single fucking Jew. You know whose argument that was? Albert Speer. If you read Albert Speer's entire book, he fundamentally, I kind of always imagined him as like a kind of a Brooklyn guy. Jews, I ain't heard nothing about no Jews. Fucking argument, and it got him off. It worked. Fuck, man.
Well, one person who didn't get off, Eugene, you're Rosa Maria Ortega. You're a permanent resident who is being prosecuted by a Texas Attorney General for illegally voting for him and Mitt Romney. Now you're facing hard times, 8 years in jail and deportation, live in public, if you will. What PR moves can you make in wake of being a poster child for President Trump's voter fraud claims?
Now, she voted for the guy who's prosecuting her, is that right?
Illegally.
Okay. She illegally voted, and she illegally voted for somebody else as well, right?
A Republican, Mitt Romney.
She said.
Yeah, she voted.
So she said.
She what? Right. So she illegally voted for 2 Republicans. Is this correct?
Yep.
And maybe more.
If
I don't know how many.
If I am her advisor at this point now, I say, I want you to call a press conference, and I want you to get up there, and when they turn that freaking mic on, I want you to start sobbing and talking about him touching your genitals.
Gentiles. At least you didn't say Gentiles.
Yeah, well, one or the other. And this, all of a sudden, you have made yourself so fucking toxic that it's a potato that nobody wants to hold. What they send you across the border, and you walk back across the Laredo the next day. I don't know Texas well enough to. Where's the border? You walk back across El Paso, come right back.
Brooklyn, and
because you start talking about your genitals, touching your genitals. Nobody wants any part of that. They're gonna find some. They got plenty of Mexicans in Texas to make examples of. They don't need this one.
They need a genital touching one. I can see you say like, Rosa, listen to me, please listen.
Yep.
You are gonna be the hot potato nobody wants to touch. She's like, okay.
That's why it's like we don't need a criminal attorney. We need a criminal attorney, right? This is the kind of PR advice that you're not gonna get from the expensive guys, but the guys in the mall and the trailers, like us. This is good advice. You should fucking take it.
I can see the entire day of advice. So what's that? Genitals. Touch your genitals.
Gentle.
Because your genitals.
Yeah, because the left is not going to fucking help you with this. Nobody. I mean, you need to seek cover, and no way, no fucking way. You got to go right for the. Somebody comes at you with a knife, you go with the gun. That's it.
So what do you suggest, Nate?
I don't think you can give. She's done, man. She's cooked. There's no PR advice out of a prison sentence, and they're talking like years here. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can
8 years, 4. That she gets out with 4 for good behavior.
Yeah, I mean, Texas puts people away for all kinds of nonsense with no mercy. You're fucked. I would be getting that Prison for Dummies book is what I would be doing. That's my advice to her, because she is screwed. And ironically, Ken Paxton, the Texas Attorney General, is under indictment for stock fraud, but he's not going to be put away before he gets hurt.
No, hold on. Now, what do you or do you not agree that my genital blast is a good one?
It's irrelevant. It's a non sequitur. I mean, I don't think it helps.
Exactly. It's a beautiful Hail Mary.
I think it's better if she says they touched my genitals. And then there's some confusion with the lawyer, and he whispers in her ear, and then she's, excuse me, my genitals. And then I think that's better, but it's still useless. It's useless, Eugene. Useless. You're not helping. You're not helping.
I think it's a solid Hail Mary. Sorry.
You got to try.
Yeah.
And speaking of trying, Nate, you're United Airlines. According to Reuters, one of your pilots reported to work wearing casual clothes and a baseball cap. Argue with their crewmates. Apologize that she was going through a divorce. Identified an interracial couple. Besmirched Hillary Clinton and Trump. Then said, quote, so I'll stop and we'll fly the airplane. Don't worry. I'm going to let my co-pilot fly. He's a man. End quote. Multiple passengers left the plane fearful of their lives. What PR moves can you take to make Flying United great again?
Fuck,
man, these are some impossible fucking cases, because nobody likes the airlines at this point, and
especially not United.
Yeah, they are. Ever since TWA closed down, I love TWA because it was the worst airline, and it really was. It was awful. Yeah, you're United Airlines, man. Put a shotgun in your mouth. I don't know. Put yourself up for sale. There's no. I mean, what do you say? Oh, well, we're systematically underpaying pilots. We would add a substitute, but we don't have the crew depth to fly. So that could be the choice. Hey, you want us to cancel the flight, or you want to fly with the bad pilot? That would be my advice. Just stick it to them high and hard. Fuck you. You're flying commercial. Eat shit. That seems to be their customer service mantra anyway.
How about this? If I want to go down the rabbit hole in the conspiracy, United is a, well,
we offer free genital touching.
That's a good Hail Mary, no matter what the circumstance. But I'm gonna say it's United is employee owned, right?
I don't know. Let's look that up.
I'm pretty sure they are.
So then she was a shareholder. Not just.
Yeah, so she was a shareholder, and I'm thinking about everybody playing everything for advantage. That's the nature and the undergirding of a conspiracy. And so, who benefits? Who benefits here? The Donald is putting the horns to airlines for Boeing.
No, they haven't been employee owned since filing for bankruptcy in December 2002.
Oh,
so yeah.
Oh, so they were employee owned, then they filed for bankruptcy. Yeah. Did they what year did they reorg?
2002. I don't know.
So okay, and now who owns them?
They merged with somebody. I don't know.
I got
rich people. The powers that be.
I got nothing.
See, here's what I suggest they do.
Most airlines are so fucking far in the hole, with the exception of maybe, well, Alaska would be great, but they're always crashing. And then they had, they destroyed Virgin America. They destroyed Virgin American because now I won't fly on Virgin America because they're now owned by Alaska. So I don't trust them because they were always crashing. So there's Southwest, which is like the Greyhound of the air. I trust them. There's JetBlue, and then there's Virgin Atlantic, and then there's Lufthansa's having problems. I no longer trust them. Fuck the Germanic thing, So it's, now they have an airline. I've been on one of those airlines, those like Ryanair or those ones in Europe, $20 to get to someplace else in Europe. No seats. You stand up like a New York City subway. You just stand up. They have little pads on the wall, so you kind of lean against the wall. I like that. So you can't. I mean, these airlines, we're gonna have to kind of embrace the fact that it's almost like a public utility and help them somehow, man. I don't know what to say.
I think what they should do. I think is very simple. What they do is just have a sale, cut prices, and give snacks or meals on the plane. People don't give a fuck. They'll be doing their kayak and little search like, who has the cheapest price? Oh, United, let's go. And that food.
But no, I mean, everybody hated airplane food. Suddenly when they start charging for it, people are like, nah, if they gave you free fucking Wi-Fi on a plane, I watched people at Safeway, 16 people online. I'm standing down the fucking aisle trying to buy some vinegar. 16, and nobody's complaining. There would have been people screaming their guts off 10 years ago because their heads are all buried in their phones. Give them free Wi-Fi.
So there you go, man. So you went from a place where you had no solutions, and now you have a solutions through your vinegar buying experience at Safeway. There you go. Thank you, Safeway.
The viewers are saying that you're wrong about Ryanair and they have seats.
All don't have seats. I'm saying I was on a Ryanair plane.
The one that he flew.
Yeah. Maybe it was $20. Maybe it was EasyJet. It was some cheap.
Was it very dark and you were in with all the luggage? Perhaps. Did it get very cold on the flight?
Well, I'm going to ask you the Russian question. Were there only black people on the plane?
Exactly. I was hanging out with Nigerians and Cubans. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck was going on. No. It was like from Norway to some other place. I think it was probably the same flight where the Italian guy was standing there outraged that they wouldn't let him on the plane with his hatchet and 3 knives. He was actually outraged, and he was doing this Italian thing. I'm like, and it almost seemed like the security people in Copenhagen were going to weaken. I was like, Jesus Christ, if that guy is on my plane, I'm going to get and demand a replacement. I'm not flying.
Just one knife. Just let him have one knife. Just one knife.
Like, what was this guy thinking? A hatchet. Hanging out with Chris Weidman.
Oh. So that brings us to our teachable moment. Eugene, you're Disney. You are in the irreverence business with YouTube giant
PewDiePie. Alexa can't say it.
I can't say it. I think it's PewDiePie. Who enjoyed $1 million deals with you and others for its over 14.7 billion views until Monday, after the Wall Street Journal contacted you about 8 anti-Semitic jokes and Nazi imagery. What can we learn from your dance with the devil in the pale blue light of the internet?
Then this question is for me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say, hey, fruit and tree. I mean, we all know about Walt Disney and his associations with the far right and his love for fascism and Nazism. It is well documented. So the fact that now, later on, that their first stab at irreverence should take a decidedly froggy, alt-right take. I mean, there's a thin line between trolling and offending people, right? Actually, there was something that I thought was amusing, and I'm prone to give the guy a little slack on it when the black reporter says to Trump, "Well, have you met with the Congressional Black Caucus?" He goes, "Nah, I've been trying." You know him? You know anybody over there? I was like, I'm sorry, I think that was perfectly reasonable to ask, So, I mean, you wouldn't ask the white jurors, but the white jurors didn't ask me about the Congressional Black Caucus. You did. So I'm figuring it's your beat. I'm asking, you know, I don't want to give him any exculpatory legs up, but you know, I mean, Disney should stick to doing what it does well, which is making insulting fucking animated features that minimize the role of fucking women while disguising themselves as eye candy for little girls, and stop fucking around with trying to contemporize themselves. Just stop. It's not gonna fucking work. It's not gonna work unless you're gonna go all in 100%, and you know, hire Harvey Weinstein and I almost said Firestein. That's a different Harvey. Weinstein, get Miramax in there and start doing edgy. You know, and there's no need for that. There's nobody comes to you for that. Nobody wants that. And believe you, I know a little bit about the people who work there because I got the ins. They're not going to be comfortable with that company changing. So just do what you do well and fuck this trying to. What? Who are you trying to appeal to? What? Millennials? Forget it. Drop it. Millennials will watch Disney films anyway with the right amount of weed. They don't need you to contemporize. They don't need PewDiePie.
I know a guy who used to watch
who incidentally is probably a little fucked. Should ask for some PR advice for him.
I knew a guy who used to watch Disney movies, you know, to hook up with girls. He's like, man, you need to watch some Pocahontas up in here. I was like, what? He's like, yo, man, you play Disney movie, right? The girl thinks you're all sensitive and shit, right? Jesus, and then like half an hour in, you're fucking. Like you got to like, dude, you need some Disney movies.
Hey, has this guy ever had sex before?
He actually has. And he had a good run with Disney movies, so it was fucked up.
Dating women who were under 12.
I don't think so. No, he actually, the women that he was talking about.
Yeah, look, I don't
no,
know.
Seriously, on these situations, I paused, but I didn't see anyone under 12. This is back in the day where you're like, how does he end up with fucking Disney movies? I'm telling you.
Well, no, it's not that it's a Disney movie. It's that it's a boring movie. So that, you know, if somebody's over 25, I'm not going to sit here and watch fucking
This isn't law school. This is like back when you're 22, 23. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
That's a straight, that would be grounds for leaving.
Well, work for him. Work for him, baby. What do you think?
I need some numbers for as a proof. Once or twice is not working.
I'll track him down.
You tell me 50 or 60.
Hey, remember back in the day?
I go, okay, that's working.
And I didn't see the numbers. Pocahontas versus Beauty and the Beast versus.
1 or 2 times the guy got lucky. I need the serious numbers. So
he needs get the noise out of the static noise signal ratio. Whatever. Yeah, Disney needs nothing to do with PewDiePie at this point. Actually, nobody needs nothing to do with PewDiePie. Even YouTube, who's built their brand around the dude, needs to separate themselves from dude. I mean, he's clearly taken the signal from the Trump election and Brexit and everything else as just a go for it, loud and proud fucking neo-Nazi. Mark my words, Boyo will be a full-on alt-right neo-Nazi within 5 years. At this point, he's still flirting with it and saying, "Hey, I'm just making jokes. Don't be so sensitive and politically correct." But he's been an asshole for years. He's been making jokes about developmentally disabled people, not calling them that, using other terms. I mean, and now he's just escalating. And the shit he's been doing is not funny, and it has no real point except hatefulness. So fuck him. Get as far away.
What's funny about these guys is just such a, you know, it's like Civil War reenactors. It's such a dead beat game, man. It's like you're just, haven't you figured out that you don't win this one? You don't win this one. Like ever. You're not gonna fucking win. You know, Hitler didn't win. You're not gonna win. It just doesn't. You're not gonna win. You know what? 12 years, 1,000-year Reich, 12 fucking years. Come on, man. What? And certain things are gonna start happening. Like the quality of like what kind of just think about. I mean, he might be gay like Milos. I don't know, but the quality of sexual partner you have is going to skew strangely at that point. You know, it's not like, I mean, look, the Nazis had greater purchase in that, right? I mean, it was like, well, nobody knew they were killing 12 million people, but you know, had nice uniforms and maybe you could, well, their political sympathies. Well, at least they're not communist. I mean, I just don't understand the end game for something like this. You know, for somebody who's like all these cats, these angry white dudes under 40. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I mean, I want to get Gavin on a show because he and I are actually friends. Gavin McInnes, and like get him on some kind of Aussie show and talk. It's like, I understand this idea that political correctness, that nobody likes to tiptoeing and I'm on eggshells and I gotta watch everything I fucking say, and why not in the name of free speech can't we have an open, honest discussion about shit, and maybe I have an idea that diverges from yours and we could talk it out without you, essentially ringing the bell and calling the cops on me. But I mean, that's part of free speech too. You gotta.
But also, if you're winning,
you gotta get punched in the head every now and then.
But
right?
if you're winning, that's another thing, though. But if you're winning and you're ahead, and you are winning in life, I don't think you should care about the fact that you can't call certain people certain words. Because you're paid.
But, I mean,
you're
my
paid,
understanding
you're
is
hooking up.
my understanding. My understanding in the connection with Gavin is that he comes from money and he's had money for a long time. So money is really not the issue for him.
Is he getting laid?
Well, he's married. He's got a couple of kids. In my brief association with the guy, I would say, well, look, yeah, you know what? I don't know. My brief association with the guy indicates that he is rebelling, that he has not enjoyed fear. I mean, he's kind of not a troll. A troll is doing something for the express purpose of kind of creating a postmodern joke. He's like a confrontationalist. Like, I'm gonna put on at one point he issued a call. He goes, I will fight anybody. I'm gonna fight. And he was trying to induce all these people. So naturally people said, hey man, Gavin says he'll fight anybody. I say, Gavin, I'll fight you. He goes, I'll fight anybody but Eugene. I will fight anybody but Eugene. I will not fight Eugene, but I will fight anybody. He didn't want to fight trained fighters. But I think he was essentially trying to do some sort of Fight Club thing. Like, you guys are.
How representative do you think he is, though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it just?
I think he comes from a certain class of like hipster cat who's just like, a derivation of the skateboard guys who just like fuck the rules.
Because he's rich. That's not the majority of people.
Fuck the world, from Hell's Angels to skateboarders to like. Because
he's rich. I mean, he's not really representative of many white people, in this country. If he's rich,
but I'm saying his wealth. I mean, first of all, he's Canadian. So, and second of all, his wealth has been significant enough. So it's not, if you've been wealthy a long time, or if you had money for a long time, what do you give a fuck? I mean, but whatever. The race thing got him in enough trouble that it got him separated from Vice magazine, right? So, I mean, where at first I'm going to go to a Klan rally because it'll be funny. And then people are like, funny, you're a fucking rich. Like, I'll give you a prime example. Somebody was arguing the other day said, I don't care what you think about Trump. Melania's pretty cool. And I'd really like to party with her. And I couldn't take it after a while. And I finally said, Ava Braun might have been a hoot, but I'm not hanging out with her.
I hear she started a steamer.
Right, and then so that people flipped out. They take a lot. This is intellectual flabby for you to compare and bring Hitler into the argument. So I said, I didn't say anything about Hitler. You did. I said I was talking about Ava Braun. Oh, you can't talk about Ava Braun she doesn't exist without Hitler as a reference point. I go, whatever. See, so now I'm doing the Gavin thing of, I'm being a kind of a confrontationalist because I'm directing my brickbats at somebody who I don't like Melania. But there was so they were countering with sensitivity over the Holocaust issue. Like, I was making light of it by comparing Melania to, and I'm so we're countering we're grievance countering, So she had Melania. She's the person who puts a post. I'm identifying with Melania as a woman, and I say, well, yes, she's a woman, but she's a woman with a bad man. And then they say, oh, but you, the woman that you go to Ava Braun. So then the grievance they counter with was you're minimizing the Holocaust. And so then I counter with, forget about the Holocaust for a second. This is about a woman who is trapped. And so I double back and go back to Melania as victim thing. And that worked. If you want to step out of this fucking cycle, this cyclical of grievances, then you just do crazy shit. I don't know. I'm not understanding what Gavin is doing, but PewDiePie, however, is a fucking asshole. So, yeah, to come full circle.
He's like, remember the speech at the end of Come and See, that great Russian movie about the German Nazis in Belarus? And at the end, they have this Nazi, and they're about to shoot him down, and he gives this speech that's just completely insane, and it's basically like, I don't care how many times we lose this war, Nazi forever. Like, that's where these assholes are coming from. They don't care that they lose every time. It's about the struggle and it's a suicide run. They're fucking literally destroying themselves, I think.
I almost played a laugh track. It's time for Kid Nate's heel turn.
It was a tough one. There were so many choices. So many. I almost picked Trump because that press conference today, but ultimately that was too much insanity for me to parse or fathom. So the heel turn for today is Robert S. Harward, Admiral, turned down the job. Trump offered him the gig, replacing Flynn, head of the National Security Commission, and the dude said, it's a shit sandwich, no thanks. And I say, fuck you, traitor, we need you. We need people like this. We need somebody to take this job. I mean, the reality is, people are enjoying the failure of the Trump administration because they hate Trump. But the reality is the United States of America just fucking elected a guy who can't even put together a competent government. Whether you agree or disagree with what he wants to do, he can't do it. And what if we get in a fucking war? What if North Korea's next move is to fire up a fucking missile? Do you want the Apple Dumpling Gang up there fucking trying to deal with that? I mean, come on, dude. The country needs you. Somebody has to take this fucking job. Step up and take it if you're at all competent. I don't know what to say or what to do, but I can't believe I thought they were going to lean more towards the evil mastermind thing, and I was kind of worried about that. But at this point, they're just stepping on their dicks and pissing on themselves, and it's embarrassing.
Damn.
And everybody in the world is seeing this. I mean, even with Bibi Netanyahu, his best pal, he comes out and contradicts shit he has said in the past. The guy literally cannot keep any kind of agreement for any length of time. I don't know if he doesn't remember what he said before, or what, or if he changed his mind. I mean, it's amazing and staggering. But for Admiral Harward, dude, the fucking country needs you, asshole. Get in here and fucking try to help. I mean, you're a white right winger. You're a white dude.
Right, a white winger.
Yeah, get in there, white winger, and fucking, if all the racist white guys in the country want to get together and elect some asshole, fine. But this is the best guy you could come up with. I mean, I know a lot of racists, and most of them are smarter than Trump. Couldn't they find somebody better than this? What the fuck? There, that's the heel turn.
Damn.
Yeah.
Eugene.
Fortunately, it's almost like we planned it, segued perfectly, because my number one entry, all of the earmarks are there. I was fighting it like Nate. I was resisting, and as I'm driving around from lunch today, I realized it's oh my God, Donald Trump is in the Lost Battalion. Fucking missed, because he is saying shit that he has no idea. I was waiting, and people in the media room, everybody kept saying, oh, he's going to settle down into, this kind of leadership thing, and the bada bing, bada bing. And I got to tell you, finally, there was a moment where people in the press room looked around at each other, like when Junior Dos Santos was going, oh, when I get my next fight, or when anybody jumps feet first into the misty climbs of the Lost Battalion, where they just looked at each other and they're like, this is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's not going to get better. And it's not like he's going to listen, like George W. would have listened to Karl Rove. Right. What was that woman's name? Karen. What was her name? Karen. Come on, Nate, you should know this.
Oh yeah. Karen
Hughes. Yeah, there were, Dick Cheney. These are not stupid fucking people. But at this point now, I see Steve Bannon and a bunch of nervous yes people. And they have no fucking idea. Yeah, the guy should step up and defend the country, but he is as lost as, the question is, Lost Battalion is a very singular affair. Worried about is how come this guy didn't step up and help the rest of us who are stuck on this crashing planet with this lunatic. But I don't think it works that way, man. There were some rumors. If you were ever a Kennedy assassination guy, there were some rumors that Kennedy had this disease, the Adenauer's disease. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
And he was taking medication that was the rumor was that they worried because the Cuban Missile Crisis got them a lot closer to the brink of nuclear war than they ever thought they were going to be. And they were saying that the steroidal action of the drugs he was taking for Adenauer's was making Kennedy unstable. And that was one of the causes belli for why he was put away. I'm just telling you, I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just telling you it was one of the prevailing arguments. You know, ultimately, you got guys like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. Ultimately, the establishment decides to expel the bad clam. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be a grassy knoll, but we're not going to be doing this 4 years from now. Absolutely not.
It seems unlikely, but this is what we're seeing as a failed government, and countries hit these points. And I don't think we're going to see the old deep state, you know, grassy knoll, secret assassination cabal pulled off anymore. I don't think that we have the capability of doing that shit. And McConnell and Ryan are not putting a government together. If you think that they're going to impeach Trump and put in Pence or Ryan and just move on down the road as if nothing happened, no fucking chance. These guys are chained to Trump. Trump
but you know what? You know what they're doing? They're chained to Trump, but they're also, you know, they also have an eye on the street. You know, so Trump is playing high stakes. He's going to have this rally because what he's saying is, look, I can't get the press to play along. You know, I'm getting killed on these shows. Fox is not enough to carry. I gotta the Twitter thing is not. I gotta get to my people. I gotta do the thing that got me. You know, dance with the one who brung you. I gotta get. So he's gonna have this fucking rally. You know, there's gonna come a point where all that enthusiasm will curdle, and that's I'm just sitting like watching the tenant.
Any sign of it? The Trump people are with him.
Maybe three of the guys who I trained with. Three of the guys who I trained with who were super Trump guys. When we did Care Don't Care, was it yesterday? Remember I said, I want to get some of the Trump guys in here. Two of the guys fled. I thought it was noteworthy enough, so I brought it up again today. One guy said, "Oh, Eugene, you got me all wrong," and the other guy said, "I'm not a Trump guy. What are you thinking? I'm a libertarian."
It's like Bush in 2007, 2008 when you couldn't find a Bush voter.
Denied three times before the cock crows, man. This is I'm not feeling at all certain that you know. So we'll see with the rally. I mean, you know how they ended the press conference? His staff and aides stood and applauded. Are you fucking crazy? Have you ever seen something like that?
That was one of the better moves they pulled off in the press conference, though. I mean, compared to the rest of it, at least it was planned and executed. Yeah. It is. God. So the question is, I mean, and what is so damning and why we come back to the Lost Battalion again and again is because through your own agency, you will not leave there. You will not leave there. Not much you can do to get out of there. You can be plucked out of there. You could be rescued out of there, which means that you have some sort of utility and somebody needs you. But generally, if you're there, it means that you are not needed. You think you're needed, but you are not needed. Most fathers are there.
Damn.
Unless somebody needs $1, then the hand reaches into the mist. Here, kid, here's $1. They disappear and they leave you back to your wood pile, you know? No.
Man.
I mean, there are other fighters who are in that, but I mean, the thing is, this is a fight game is Quicksilver. You know, you had the guy that we pegged on Don't Care last week. Philip Nova is now retired. Gonna go back to school.
Letourneau was cut from the UFC.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's an easy pick. You know. But this is something else. I'm shocked to be saying it. I'm glad it's happening, but I also have feelings of trepidation, much like Nate, that, you know, he could get fired, but we got to live here, you know. Yep. So, but I'm not seeing a way. I'm not seeing a way. If he could have pulled himself out of this, he would have pulled himself out of it. He is incapable of pulling himself out. He doesn't desire to pull himself out. And there's no way, if you're starting at 42% or 40% or wherever he is, what kind of stunning victory could he have that's going to make people feel better in the long run? It's just you're just chipping away at a shit sculpture, and it's just not. You know, I should be happy. Apple stock is through the roof.
I knew you'd get that in there somehow.
Yeah, somehow Apple's. I should be totally happy, but actually, I am pretty happy. I am pretty
Yeah, fuck
happy.
those guys. Apple stock
But
to the roof.
but
End the show.
my Apple stock doesn't do so well if we have a hot war with North Korea. Then it's a different story, right? So.
Well, on that positive note, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at EUGENE'S, Robinson, the Kid Nate, and Lexi Old. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene. And leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Read EugeneOzzy.com. And be sure to check out all three of us on Amazon.com. We'll be back next week for another edition of If I Did It, and we don't know what we're going to be discussing yet because the PR mistakes have yet to be made.